Minnesota's capital has long been hailed as the people's house.
I believe that good government is accessible to the people.
But recent events have shaken the legislative world. June's shooting that took the lives of former DFL leader Melissa Hortman and her husband, as well as an unauthorized entry to the Senate chambers just over a week ago, have the legislative world looking for solutions.
I don't believe that the framers of the Minnesota Constitution envisioned what's happened, but I also know that they believed in accountability and accessibility.
That's why Wednesday, the Minnesota State Patrol announced a series of changes to public entry and access to the Capitol.
Previously, there were 3 public areas that had 14 doors. We limited that to 2 public areas with 4 doors.
Prior to Wednesday, this was one of the public entrances to the Minnesota Capitol. It's a tunnel that connects the Senate office building to the Minnesota Capitol basement, and members of the public could enter through the Senate building, come through this tunnel, and end up in the state capitol. But you'll notice now that this light is red, and it takes scanner badge access to gain any entry. State Patrol Colonel Christina Bogojevich explained that they'll have increased officer presences at each entrance and have bumped the Capitol up the patrol's chain of command.
We put the lieutenant colonel to directly oversee those changes and implementations in Capitol security that are taking place. He can provide a direct link to headquarters rather than going through our typical chain of command in the State Patrol.
It's about the extent of what they can do without legislative approval, but it's likely that conversations next year could quickly change that.
Long term, these are things that legislators are going to have a voice in and will need to have a voice in, particularly if you go down the road of doing things that would require funding or statutory changes.
Reporting in St. Paul, I'm Quinn Gorham.